If Kochi is on your Kerala itinerary, this video is your pocket-friendly do-it-yourself guide. I'll take you through the best things to do, must-try local food, cafes and restaurants, budget stays, how to get around, the best time to visit, ideal duration, budget breakdown, and of course some key tips and mistakes to avoid. Hey everyone, I am Pragya and welcome to my channel Kha Local Ghumo Global, where we explore new ways of living through travel, food and local stories. This is the first video in my Kerala series and my journey started right here in Kochi, the cultural heart of Kerala. Everything I share in this video comes from my own trip, planned completely do-it-yourself, keeping it budget-friendly and slow. No rushing in covering 20 things in a day, just the good spot at the relaxed pace. So stick with me till the end to get the information all you need. Now rock and roll. Kochi or Ernakulam is the bigger city hub with malls, a metro and all the urban vibes. Travelers mostly drift towards Fort Kochi, the small artsy town with Portuguese, Dutch and British influence, where life feels slower and street looks like Pinterest boards. There is an area called Matangere which is all about spice markets, antique shops and cultural heritage, while Vaipen Islands adds the charm of beaches and coastal charm. And now let's jump on to the first part of this guide, things to do in Kochi. Number 1. Walking tour of Fort Kochi, which is all about slowing down and noticing the little things. You will see colorful street walls, full of art, local sellings machine-made muruku and even pasta. Old temples tucked between lanes and beautiful small houses with their cute doors and windows. Morning routine here are charming too. Shopkeepers open shutters and fishermen setting up their nets. It's these small everyday scenes that make Fort Kochi special even without spending a rupee. Number 2. St. Francis Church. It looks simple from the outside but it holds a big story. It is the oldest European church in India. Did you know Vasco da Gama, the famous explorer, was first buried here before his remains were taken to Portugal? Entry is free but donations are welcome, and for visiting hours, I suggest checking out on Google for the up-to-date information. Number 3. Santa Cruz Basilica Church. One of the oldest and most beautiful churches in India. This is not just a church, it's an artwork. It has survived centuries of history from colonial times to today. Step inside and you will see tall ceilings, colorful stained glass windows. For visiting hours, timing may vary on special occasions, so the safest bet is to quickly check Google before you go. Number 4. Chinese fishing net. These giant nets are one of the most famous sights of Kochi, brought by Chinese traders more than 500 years ago. Pretty cool, right? Now here is the real deal from my experience. If you see them standing still, they feel like little overhyped. But the moment locals actually lower and pull them, it becomes way more fun and interesting. That's when you get the real charm of it. If you want to catch them in action, don't just wait around. Ask the locals when they are operating. If you are lucky, you might even get to help pull one by paying some amount like 100 rupees or win it for free. No ticket, no fixed timings, just check with locals for the best experience. Number 5. Great KV Kathakali Center. If you want to experience Kerala's traditional performances, this is the place to go. At Great KV Kathakali Center, you can watch Kathakali, Kalaripayattu and other South Indian dance forms. I booked my Kathakali show through their official website, super easy. Though you can also call them to reserve a seat. Check their website for timing, operating days and ticket prices. Now my personal experience, first you get a 1-hour makeup session where you watch the artists transform themselves. I remember being scared of such makeup as a child, but seeing it live, it was amazing. Honestly, 1 hour felt like a little long. The 30 minutes would have been enough. Next comes a briefing session of about 15-20 minutes where an artist explains the meaning of Kathakali gestures and expressions. Everything is conveyed through eyes and hand movements. It's intense, detailed and truly a language of its own. Finally, the 45-minute performance begins, telling stories from spiritual and mythological times. Full respect to the performers, their skill and dedication are incredible. You know what, personally after 30 minutes, I felt a bit disconnected as it is very deep and authentic for first-time viewers. But that is also the beauty of it, the purity, tradition and vibe of the theatre is unmatched. In short, it is a must-visit for everyone curious about Kerala's rich performing arts. Number 6. Matangere Town and Palace. The colourful streets of this town, spotted with spice shops, quirky local stores, stores and charming old homes. As you walk, you step inside the Mattancherry Palace and dive straight into Kerala's royal past. The walls are covered with colorful murals showing Hindu epics, and the old wooden doors and balconies gives you a peek into the life of kings and queens. All just for 5 rupees. For timings, check Google for the latest opening hours before visiting. Number 7. Jew Town, Fort Kochi. I am not someone who usually dive into art, but this town totally stole my heart. Walking through those streets, I was either smiling big or just stunned by the giant paintings, quirky doors, vintage vessels, and those little European style touches everywhere. The history vibe hits you without even trying, and honestly, you don't have to go deep to feel it. Number 8. Chillingham Beach. If you are done with the tourist crowd, head to Chillingham, a quiet coastal village near Kochi. The beach here is not fancy or postcard perfect, but that's the charm. You'll mostly see fishermen at work, simple village life, and waves hitting the stone buns. It is calm, raw, and a great spot to just sit down, walk, and watch life move at a slower pace. Other nearby spot is Kumbalangi village, which is Kerala's first ecotourism village. Very refreshing if you want to skip the city rush. I suggest picking 4 to 5 spots that excite you the most and exploring at your own pace. And if you are rushing for 15-20 things, then I'm not the one who will crowd you. Moving on to the next topic, food journey in Fort Kochi. My primary focus was on trying local food and then a few cafes, starting from number 1, Pandal Cafe. This is all about cozy vibe, pretty decor, and a touch of artsy charm. Perfect for chilling between your walks in Fort Kochi. It has a bakery section that looks super tempting. Their cakes and bakes are the real stars. I tried Turkish eggs here. First time, not my thing, but hey, sometimes it is about picking the right dish. The place itself worth the stop for the vibe and sweet treats. Number 2, Loafers Cafe in Fort Kochi. The little window from the road instantly caught my attention, and once inside, the cafe felt even prettier. It has these charming window corners that make you want to just sit back and chill. I tried their French toast for the first time. It was so damn good. Nicely plated with the toast in the center, fruits all around, refreshing, filling, and honestly the perfect pick-me-up. Budget friendly and cozy, this cafe is worth the stop. Just an add-on, I also heard about the great authentic food in Kerala Cafe in Fort Kochi. I went there but couldn't find anything in small portion available at that time. You can give it a try and let me know how it was. Number 3, Ananta Bhavan Inn, a pure vegetarian restaurant that is super pocket friendly and quite popular among budget travelers. Perfect spot for authentic South Indian food, and you know what? This is co-owned by one of the MasterChef's finalists, Sri Leela ji. Their menu has favorites like masala dosa, paneer butter masala, and veg meals. I tried the plain dosa and honestly, it felt like food straight from the heart. Simple yet so satisfying. Number 4, Money Restaurant in Mattancherry area. This little spot screams local. The menu is only in Malayalam, which itself tells you how authentic it is. A true go-to place if you are looking for a proper Kerala-style breakfast and meals. Super economical, no drama, just food. I tried here yellow kadla curry with appam for the first time and it was absolutely delicious. Added a hot cup of chaya to that and the charm of this place just doubled. Number 5, Tropical Tangy Plate Beachside. You will often spot vendors selling their super popular plate loved by travelers. Thanks to a hostel friend, I tried it too. It's a refreshing mix of raw mango, amla cucumber and a sprinkle of chili powder on top. Number 6, Hot and Fresh Restaurant, which was a random dinner find. I tried the puttu with sambar, dosa set and kappa. Puttu is made of steamed rice flour and coconut, a Kerala staple. It was okay for me. Kappa is boiled tapioca, usually eaten with fish or egg curry or veg curry. Personally, I did not enjoy it much with sambar. Sambar and dosa, the real winner for me. Perfectly spiced, filling and tasty. And that is it about my food journey in Fort Kochi. And moving on to the next, where to stay. Fort Kochi is the best spot to base yourself. It is close to all the main attractions, historical streets, cafes, art spot and the beach. So you can explore without wasting time on long rides. Skip staying in Ernakulam or Kochi mainland or far-flung islands. Unless you have a car, you will spend more time commuting than enjoying. For a true local and budget-friendly vibe, check out Santa Maria Hostel in Fort Kochi. Dorms are comfy, the location is perfect and you will meet fellow travelers to share stories with. ideal for backpackers who love a mix of convenience and local culture. Next topic, how to get around Fort Kochi. Rent a two-wheeler which will cost you around 500 to 600 per day. This is the cheapest, flexible and the best way to explore at your own pace. Another one, tuk-tuk or autos, convenient but a bit pricey. Then is the public ferries or water metros, super cheap but check timings as they are limited. And finally, ride-hailing apps are also available so you can play around your way. My personal favorite, walking. It is perfect way to notice the little corners, colorful street and of course free of cost. Moving on to the next, what is the best time and duration for Kochi? Boys and girls, let me give you info about the seasons in Kochi so that you can plan accordingly. Kochi has a tropical monsoon climate, experiencing its season as winter, October to February, with cool, pleasant weather and a high season for tourists. Then comes the summer, March to May, with hot, humid condition and temperature reaching so high, expect off-season for tourists. And then the monsoon season, June to September, with heavy rainfall, another off-season. I went in September and off-season, which comes with its own risk and perks, so choose as per your ease. An ideal duration is 2 days to enjoy at ease without hopping into the mainland. Now some travel tips and common mistakes to avoid in Kochi. Number 1. Pack light, carry cotton clothes and walk a lot at your own pace. Number 2. Do not overplan and rush to cover all the connected towns and places. The fun is in picking selected things to reward your trip. Number 3. Try more local food like kappa, appam, puttu, and if you are a non-vegetarian, you have many options in curries, and also try not so popular cafes. They deserve your attention. Just walk in anywhere you feel the vibe. Number 4. Try a mix of touristy and not so popular spot to have your own piece. Number 5. Try public ferries for hopping islands, like I traveled by local ferry from Ernakulam port to Fort Kochi in just 6 rupees. Crazy, right? Number 6. Book any cultural experience and massages directly instead of a tour guide or an operator. And the final topic is estimated budget for Fort Kochi per day per person. The stay will range about 600 to 800 per night. The food will cost you about 350 to 500 per day, and the transport cost will be around 500 to 600 per day for two-wheeler rental, tuk-tuk pricier, ferries cheaper. For the activities and experience, you can budget around 1000 to 3000 depending on cultural shows, Kerala style massages or other add-ons. For 2 days in Fort Kochi, you can comfortably budget around 3000 to 5000 for a slow, enjoyable trip, including stay, food, transport and a couple of experiences. And that's a wrap of my complete Fort Kochi Kerala travel guide. From the streets, the art and the beaches to local cafes, budget stays and cultural experience, you now have everything to explore at your own pace. Remember, Fort Kochi is all about slow travel, so take your time, soak in the vibe and discover the little joys around every corner. If you like this guide, don't forget to like, share and save, and hit subscribe for more Kerala adventure coming up soon. If you have any questions, do write to me in the comment section, or also you can reach out to me on my Instagram and thread handle. It's called KhaoLocal Ghumo Global. Next off is Munnar in my Kerala series. This is me, Pragya Sharma, exploring new ways of living, signing off. You see me in my next release. Till then, travel safely, stay safe and explore the world with care. Bye. Namaste.